For this video, we're proudly partnered with HelloFresh. HelloFresh are on a mission to make your meal times easier with pre-portioned ingredients, quick and easy recipe cards, and plenty of treats we can get on board with too. Get 60% off your first box plus free dessert for life by clicking a link at the top of the description. Sounds good, doesn't it? I've tried it before, I'm a big fan of the brand, and have helped with my weight loss this year too. There's healthy options available, so why not grab your discount and give HelloFresh a go from the description below. Well, it's time to begin a brand new series here from FM24, but it's got a sense of the familiar to it, I think you would say, this one. For those that have been following along all year, and particularly our head coach story, you will know that we had a difficult decision to make partway through the save. We started in Japanese football, we worked our way through it and had a brilliant time. And about 5.5 years in, we got a decision to make. Do we take the realistic move to England and continue our career back home? Or do we take a weird adventure through European football? Now, due to the self-imposed rules of the head coach save, I had to take the realistic move. We went to Bournemouth, we progressed our career. But we did have another 2 job offers as well. One more from England, but from the Championship rather than the Premier League. And one from elsewhere in European football, over in the Netherlands at Willem II. We said we would have loved to have taken that save and gone on an alternate route through Europe under the same head coach rules with no say in transfer staffing or contracts. So guess what? As the head coach has reached its natural conclusion following that experiment and some glitches in the last week, we're going to do just that. We are going to take charge of Willem II, take the alternate path through the rest of our head coach career, and hopefully see a few nations we don't often get to, and find a different route to the top of world football. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 1 of the coach's head with me, Daniel. A very simple save where the rules are pretty much exactly the same as the head coach. The only difference is here, we don't have to take the most realistic job offer. We can take a plot through Europe and world football as we wish. We're going to see a few different types of clubs, play in a few different types of ways. If you're looking forward to it, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. I will link the part of the head coach story where we got these job offers up in the eye above, so you can find them nice and easily. But we are back at the same part, I think it was part 46 of the head coach, where we had these 3 job offers from Bournemouth, Derby and Willem II. Now, of course, we took the one that offered a Premier League job, by far the biggest wage and by far the biggest opportunity to manage in our career. However, this was a job that was really enticing. And if I just had that job offer, I would have been thrilled and I would have gone and done it. We've never had a route through the Netherlands in the head coach before, one of the nations I've wanted to manage in. And this is one where I felt I couldn't turn it down. So under the same head coach rules, we're going to go on an alternate story. And it's going to start by taking this job offer instead. A lot of you were clamoring for it at the time. You really wanted me to take this route. And today we'll do what we always do. We'll meet the staff, we'll meet the players, we'll see what we've got to work with. And you guys can get involved in the comments and help me decide a tactic too. So I'm not going to cover too much more about why we've chosen to do this as an extra save and alternate route. We did do a whole episode discussing it up in the eye above. It's called Let's Talk About the Head Coach. But for now, we're going to crack straight on by rejecting the move from Bournemouth, rejecting the move from Derby, and accepting the one from Willem II. Let's start the negotiations. We'll try and get up to 8 grand a week. We'll try and reduce our wage to drop if we get relegated, because there is a risk based on where they are in the table. I suggest those terms, they're happy with it, and after 5 years in Japanese football, this head coach save is heading to the Netherlands. Let's get to our first day at Willem II, meet the staff, players, and see what the club's predicament is. And here we are over in the Netherlands, and we are welcomed to Willem II after our meteoric rise with FC Gifu. Do you all remember that from back in the autumn? We are here after Willem II go on a run of 6 straight league defeats and finishing 15th in the Eredivisie as it stands. It is not acceptable for a side of their expectations, which I think was mid-table finish at the start of the year. But we are going to try and make sure we survive this time and then build the club in the future. We've left Kashima Antlers, we're back in Europe, and we're going to a job and a country that I'm genuinely excited about managing in. I hope the director of football thing works okay after our experiment in the week, but this is something that I think is going to be good fun. So let's see how it works out as we go through the introductory messages. There you go. Media prediction was 11th. No director of football because they've gone with the old manager, I'm guessing. Assistant is Chris van der Veerden, who is okay. Mentally very good. People management is good. Judgment is okay, particularly of potential. And crucially, the tactical knowledge is good. But let's hope the coaches are very good as well, because he's not going to be helping out much. I knew I recognised the name. He was at Derby in the Philip Cocu era. It's a club with a bit of history, isn't it? 3 Eredivises, 2 Dutch Cups, and 2 second division titles as well. We want to make sure they're not in a second tier, as they've got a secure financial status, a transfer budget that's not bad at all, and a wage budget that seems pretty healthy. 4-2-3-1 being suggested here. I don't know what's caused that, whether it's what they're doing, whether it's what our preferred formation was, or what we were doing at our last club. 2 players on loan, 3 out on loan, and a few names you'll probably recognise. St Jago is one, Apoku's one, and out on loan Zeefoik is a name I recognise too. Not sure who Hall is here. Denzel Hall. Not sure. We'll have a look at them. Ace Vado I know the name of as well. As you can see, a couple of regens in there. Dokic at left back. Should be something to work with, and a few younger players. They've got a negative transfer budget business model. That's something we've not seen at many of our clubs so far. Minimum 3-year contracts for first team players. Very much a focus on defensive football, set pieces, high tempo, maybe counter-attacking style. Not really what you would expect from Dutch football, but signing youth players definitely is, and not much from old players there. We've promised that we'll stay up this year, then it changes to mid-table, I think. But at the moment, it's just about getting the job done. So let's get through the messages. We've got to develop youth players for the fans. We've got to play attacking football for the fans. How are we supposed to do this? Defensive football for the board, attacking football for the fans. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? Knack Breda are the rivals. Are they in our top tier? That's what I want to know. Knack Breda are not in the top tier by the looks of it. Oh my words. What a name that is. The first player I've seen from our club. Cockbox. I mean, you're not topping that, are you? What a move this is. I mean, he's not a great player. I don't think he's going to be making a great deal of appearances, but just for the name. I mean, that is one hell of a start to our time at Willem II, isn't it? Expectation is to avoid relegation. If we say we'll avoid a battle, a little bit more in terms of the wages, and the current spend is actually over at the minute. So do I say we avoid a relegation battle when I have no idea how strong the squad is? Now, I've been stung by this before. Anyone remember Peterborough Sports? Where we didn't get offered a new deal last year because we said we'd avoid a battle, and despite finishing 12 points clear, it was based on position. I think we're going to stick with just avoid relegation because most of those sides are pretty strong. And it will mean the director of football's got to reduce the wage bill or the transfer budget. Now, we've got to pick our tactic, which we'll do once we've met the squad. First of all, though, before we get to the exciting bit of the team, let's start with the staffing. What have we got bar the assistant manager? Not a lot, I tell you what. The old manager has taken a lot with him, hasn't he? There's virtually no recruitment team. We've just been left with a couple of physios and a couple of coaches, literally nothing else. But if we go and have a look at who is left at the club, it won't take long. Senior assistant manager we know is okay. Under 18s manager is pretty solid, not great tactically, but good in terms of helping young players develop. And the assistant manager, similar to that, to be honest. Our set piece coach is Frank Brewers. He is absolutely rubbish. Our senior fitness coach is absolutely rubbish. Our senior goalkeeping coach, Van der Ban, he's actually all right, but he's got no discipline. But it's an improvement on what we've seen so far. I think there's going to need to be some good coaches coming in if we're going to compete, or we'll be doing everything on a training ground ourselves. Reserve manager I didn't look at, sorry. Oh, he's not bad, actually. Could help out a bit with the coaching. And then the physio, pretty average. The other physio, pretty average. And the recruitment team is not that great either. This is a staffing team that needs a lot of work. So hopefully the chairperson, Jan Wassenaar, is going to pick a very good director of football, because we're going to need someone who's got good judgment and can do a very good job for us, because there is a lot of work to be done there. Let's hope there's a bit more positivity when it comes to the players. And before we get over to the senior squad, let's start by having a look at the youth team. And also, very quickly, actually, the facilities and that we're encountering. Great training facilities, great youth facilities, excellent youth recruitment. a decent stadium of 17,000. This is a club with a really good infrastructure and an absolutely terrible staffing. What are the players going to be more like? The terrible staffing, the brilliant infrastructure, or somewhere in the middle? If we look at the development centre, as we expected from the facilities, a lot of players with big potential, but how are we going to get them there when we haven't got a staffing team that can help? Let's go through them individually then. The under-18 squad, some big potential players, only one with 2-star ability for now, and it's a 16-year-old fullback called Torbed. Oh, he's good. Wow, he's really good. 16-year-old right back. And he's got ability. He's got all the right attributes. And actually, for a youth player coming through the academy in FM24, that is about the most balanced set of attributes you're actually going to get. Bar the composure being slightly down. I can see him being in the first team. I've got to be honest with you. Have a look at the 1.5-star ones. Yeah, I mean, there's a big jump down after that. But we have got a youth player who I desperately want to get in the squad. So Torbed, one to keep an eye on. The reserves have got loads of 2-star players. A couple of them are a bit older. So we've got a 23-year-old keeper, a 32-year-old winger who he's lost his legs, but he's not bad. Iranian international. If we need to, we can get him in. We've got some younger ones as well. So 18-year-old Van der Put, another right back, not bad as well. Good personality. Don't say they're all the same position. Thomas Martins, attacking midfielder, is okay. Frank Hoyce is okay. Again, good personality, could maybe get involved. The way I work, I wouldn't mind throwing a couple of these on the bench if need be, I've got to say. But the older ones, maybe not quite good enough. But there is some players with big potential. And that under-18s player at right back is really good. Unfortunately, the best one in here is also a right back. Let's hope the senior squad isn't loaded with brilliant right backs and nothing else, please. So the wages generally are pretty low. The highest paid player is Aloni. The rest of it, not really that highly paid at all. We've got 2 goalkeepers who are both very good. One is 20 and one is 30. So the Uruguayan 30-year-old is Nicolas Rossi. He's on 8 grand a week. He's a really solid goalkeeper. No massive weaknesses. Not a brilliant personality, but just solid as a rock. He's not got a great rating this year. He's only conceded just over 1 a game. I don't think he can take too much criticism. Fairly happy if he's my number 1. But the other guy's rated as good. And as a 20-year-old Dane with massive potential, if we've got someone we can bring in of a younger level, then we will. He's not quite as good. Little deficit on composure. Not quite as good overall in the goalkeeping attributes. But a very good young goalkeeper nonetheless. And one that will definitely develop into a first choice keeper in time. And on a very low wage too. No complaints. Into defence, and it looks like the first one is the best. Bit worried that there are a few right backs here, but one of them seems to be out on loan. So the best left back at the club is Milos Dokic. He is a 20-year-old Slovenian. He's really good. Professional personality. Physically, he's excellent. He's also 6 foot, which is great for the headers at the back post. Maybe not the best going forward, but very good defensively. Very good covering at centre-half as well. I mean, I doubt we can have a better defender than him, but that's more what I would expect from a young player coming through at one of the top clubs in this division. Just have a quick look at the one out on loan, Zefoik. He's not great, to be fair, is he? Next one is the other defender rated 3.5 star. In fact, there's 2 more. This one is Tommy St. Jago, a name I have heard of. 28-year-old Dutchman. He is a ball-playing defender. He's really good. He's a model citizen. He's got great determination. Brilliant in the air. Good on the floor. Do you know what? After a shaky start, this is a job that's got me as excited as I expected. The first right back is Denzel Hall, Jamaican 27-year-old international. He's okay. He's not as good as the others. Can play centre-half, but he's only 5'9" and can't head the ball. The benefit he's got, though, is that he's quick. He can make up for his mistakes. Got a little bit of a long throw. Likes to dribble going forward as well. Bit more versatile as maybe a wing-back as well. So definitely a bit of quality there. I think that youngster from the youth team, given a year or two, will probably be overtaking someone like him. But so far, the wages are reflective of the ability, which is good. The next one is a German centre-half, 25-year-old Tim Ehrmann. He is naturally a centre-half who can cover in midfield. Again, physically pretty good. He's great in the air. He's quick enough. He's strong enough. He's good playing out from the back. He sort of looks like a slightly worse version of St. Jago. So at the moment, I would have him probably as my backup to him. First one who's probably a little overpaid for the quality he's got. He's a solid centre-half again. So alongside Santiago, or maybe as part of a back three, could be a success for us. Now, we saw that McKendy was the deadline day signing. He is 2.5-star ability, but he's a bit younger. 23-year-old Belgian who can play centre-half and centre-mid. Okay, he's a natural holding mid and centre midfielder. Not sure it was the best use of money because he's not got a good personality, so he's going to need the mentoring group with Santiago. He has got a bit of potential though, so if we can get him working on the training ground and we can find a way to get him in a personality group that he improves, then that could be good for us. But for now, not as good as the ones we've seen so far. The next player though does look pretty good. It is Amine Lachkar, who is a 25-year-old Moroccan defender and midfielder. Now, he's versatile. He's natural at centre-half and holding midfield. Prefers to play on the right, which might be an issue at the back with Santiago, but very good player nonetheless, and I'm sure will be involved in the first team squad. I'm thinking now either a back three or a tactic with a holding midfielder. There is another youth player in here, Gilberto Grootfam. He has 2-star ability at 19. He's not great. He should be in the B team. He's not going to get enough football here. So down to the reserves for him. Next one is Niels van Berkel, who's a 3-star left back on £5,000 a week, but he is transfer listed at the minute. I'm not really sure why based on what we've seen so far. I mean, he's all right. He's not the best defensively, which is definitely a concern, but he's been at the club as a youth player for years and years. He's solid going forward. He's quick enough. Surely he's got to be the second best at the club, hasn't he? We've not actually seen, other than Jokic, a senior left back yet. There is another player here that can play left back and also centre half, a 28-year-old Serb, Dimitri Kamenovic. He is on £10,000 a week, one of the biggest earners and one of the best rated defenders too. He's good. Very good. He's 6'2", so centre half's probably better for him. He is listed as 3.5 in both positions, but primarily central defence. Maybe not as good on the ball playing out from the back, not the most composed or best decision maker. As a physical out-and-out defender, he's got it, hasn't he? So alongside someone like Santiago, I could see him being very good. Also says he possesses a long flat throw, but he's only got 10 for a long throw rating, so that one doesn't make much sense. But you'd want him in the box attacking them, wouldn't you? Not taking them anyway. We've got our centre-half partnership, and maybe bar right back, we've got 3 really good defenders, and we've got young players that can progress in that role. So I'm really pleased with where we are. Could the right back solution be Javi Hernandez? By far the highest paid player at the club. 30-year-old, 3-star ability on loan. He's on £16,000 a week. Oh, he's not great. I mean, he's on loan from Borough. He's a solid pro. He's a good squad player. He's decent enough centre-half and left back. But I would definitely not have him. I really hope the backroom advices let him go. Or he's not played a game yet this season. So I wonder, because it says he's concerned about the amount of game time he's not getting. I wonder if we could maybe just leave him out and in the end Middlesbrough recall him because we're not playing him. That would be the dream scenario for January. We've seen it happen before with players we don't want. Here we might even manufacture a situation where it does, because it will put us back under the wage bill and it will solve a problem there. And then they can keep Van Berkel as the backup instead. Another right back out on loan is Hussein Ali, who actually I think looks a pretty decent player. Gone to Adu Den Haag, just a solid squad player. I don't really know why they've let him go. Why didn't they keep him and not sign Hernandez? That would have been the better situation, wouldn't it? Another option on the left-hand side is Renzo Titans, a bit younger at 23, 2-star ability, wanted by a few clubs, so maybe has some potential. He doesn't look that great, does he? Again, not as good as the one on the transfer list. I'm a little bit perplexed about the situation we found with a couple. Again, I'm going to try and manufacture situations here, which is what we have to do when we're not in charge of transfers and contracts. What I'm going to try and do is get Van Berkel game time, either off the bench or from the start. Probably off the bench looking at Dokic. Hopefully through a combination of that and talking to him, for the slight concerns there, we're going to be able to get to a situation where he wants to stay and maybe the backroom advice meeting recommends we take him off the transfer list. And then we're going to try and get Hernandez recalled by not playing him, which will hopefully then resolve the wage issues while taking away the highest earner who's not that good. Fingers crossed there's the master plan. We have got another poor midfielder to start with, 28-year-old 2-star ability Austrian, Vesil Demaku, who is, do you know what? He's not that bad. He's not a great player, But if we needed to bring someone off the bench for 10 minutes to see out a game, defensively I would trust him. He's not got a great deal of technical ability, and he's not the best going forward, but he's solid enough. I've seen a lot worse in my time. The best one in midfield, though, and our best player at all going forward, is Nicolas Acevedo. Looks like this side is better in defence than attack, because he has 3.5-star ability, he's a Uruguayan, he's a holding mid and centre mid. He's got the engine, he's got the physical attributes to be alright, good enough on the ball, good enough going forward, and works hard. Like him, good player, happy to have him here. Next one out on loan is an Icelandic Noktvarsson. He's not that great, I can see why he was let go. The other loan player we've got is a Brazilian number 10, who can also play centre midfield. That is Laquinha. He is, naturally a number 10 as well. He is 3-star ability, he's good technically, can play off the right if need be, can play that bit deeper. Looks like the sort of player that would be a good playmaker in the team. Maybe if we're going to play a 4-3-3, he could do that here. Be that progressive advanced playmaker. But I like him. He's a better loan player than the other and for half the wage as well. And it looks like we've not got much else in terms of quality going forward. So let's just rattle through these lot. 28-year-old with a slight concern about his playing time. Wants to go out on loan to get a permanent move. Belgian Othman Beside. He is a left winger. He's okay. He's made a few sub appearances this year. Not the best player overall, but the key attributes are great. So I wonder if cutting in from that left-hand side, he could be a threat for us. I actually quite like him because he's got no thrills, no excitement. He is just really good at the role he's been signed to play. So actually, I think he might find a bit of joy in my team. The next one is a 27-year-old Dutchman, Nigel Thomas, who's earning more money. He's actually got a bit of potential despite being 27 now. And he's pretty good as well. He's a natural on both sides. Shoots from distance and has 18 for long shots, which is always a bonus when you're struggling at the bottom. He's quick. He's not quite as good technically. Very much the opposite to what we've just seen with the other guy, Boussaid. He is a better player overall and not quite as good in that specific role. But off the right-hand side, he gives us a good option and he can cover the left as well. No complaints about him. Next up is a 2.5-star player, a bit younger at 25, Ibrahim Sissoko, left winger and striker. Natural at both, but can't really finish, so not my type of striker. He's someone who I think, again, will play a little role in our squad, but he wouldn't be starting a game ahead of the other two, if I'm being brutally honest about it. Next is another player who can play pretty much everywhere in the front five roles. It is Norwegian 30-year-old, 3-star ability, Magnus Grødem. He is a number 10 that can play off the left. Give me a few worries about tactic, actually. The more I think about it, could I play 2 holding midfielders, make Acevedo one of 2 there, and then play a number 10 as well, play a proper 4-2-3-1, bit like we have at Bayern and at Marseille in the other head coach save. I feel like that could work better. I don't think he's quite as good as the Brazilian on loan, but he offers a different threat. He's a number 10 that would go in and attack the box. He's got good jumping reach. He's a decent finisher. He's the one who wants to join the attack, get inside there. He'd be an attacking midfielder rather than a playmaker like the Brazilian would. 5 to go, and we've got 29-year-old German midfielder Aaron Apoku. He is a player who can play off both wings or number 10. Natural off both sides, electric quick. Not the best player overall, but again, an impact winger, I would say. One of the surprises I have here is that he started 15 games this season, despite the fact he looks to be on the transfer list, which he is. I don't think he's as good as Thomas or Boussaid. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I would definitely start Boussaid over him and can see why he'd be frustrated at not playing this season. So Aaron Apoku, one I'd probably be willing to let go if those offers came in. And obviously, I can't change his transfer status unless it's recommended by the backroom team, so there's a good chance he will be leaving anyway. Alan Minda is another midfielder who can play up front. Ecuadorian 25-year-old, 3-star ability, natural off the left. Not the best crosser of the ball, not the best final product. Good dribbling, good physical attributes. A bit of a flair player, but again, is he going to be consistent? The answer's probably no. There are so many very similar wingers here that it doesn't really make sense as a tactic. We're going to have to play 2 wide players just to make it work, but I could do with 1 or 2 of them going just to balance the squad out. We've got a younger one here with bigger potential but not so much ability. Khaled Razak, 22-year-old Dutchman. Now he can play naturally anywhere in that attacking midfield 3. He's a left footer. He's got pace. He's got determination. And he's got decent technique. But the rest of it does leave a little bit to be desired. He's a youth player who they're trying to get off the bench. I understand that. But maybe won't be the sort of player to save us from relegation. So might have to wait a bit for his opportunity. Maybe he'll get suggested for the loan list if we don't feature him much. This is where the crucial news is, though, because for all the youth and exuberance in other areas, we've got two strikers who are 32 and 33, and they both look like they're going to be target forwards rather than the sort of running in behind type. So the best rated one and the lower paid one is a 32-year-old Croat, Ivan Pratajin. Both of them are out of contract this summer, but I need someone to do a job for now. Oh, he can do it. Determination's there. He's 6'2". He's great in the air. And a centre forward who wants to just get on the end of crosses and head it in. He's a very good one when it comes to that. But he doesn't offer a huge amount more. For this season, though, I would bank on him to get me out of trouble in my tactic. And he's quick enough as well at 32 and decent enough on the floor. Is the other one any good? 33-year-old, 2.5-star ability. Grejon Kai from Ghana. He is... Oh, do you know what? He's not bad at all. He's basically the backup version of him. Not quite as good, maybe an attribute point down everywhere. Not quite as quick because he's a year older. But as a deputy will do a job. So we've got at least the same type of striker, the same type of wingers. I wouldn't say we've got outstanding quality going forward, but we've got a good base to work with. A lot of older players that are out of contract this year or fringe players. So Damaku, the two strikers. There was also a couple out wide, wasn't there? Yeah, Titans is one and Sissoko's one as well. So I would expect this squad to balance out a bit in the summer if we get a good director of football and if they can do the right thing. I'm looking at this at the moment and thinking 4-2-3-1 is probably the best option. 2 holding mids, an attacking midfield 3 with 2 wingers, and then a big target man through the middle. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Are you excited by the squad? I think defensively we've got a really good base, but going forward we probably need to build on it. Bit worried that it looks like we might inevitably lose Dokic to Bournemouth, who we could have been managing instead. And happy that his playing time has been changed from an important player. I'll be changing you straight back if it keeps you here, mate. Don't you worry. Let me know who you think we should build the team around, what sort of style of play we should go for. And you can find out tomorrow whether I've agreed or disagreed with you. Because we will be back on Monday afternoon in our usual head coach slot to start this career. And of course, we will take charge of our first game. We're going to try and manufacture the situation where Hernandez is sent back to solve the wage problems. But we've got some worries before then. 6 defeats in a row for this club, 5 of them by 1-0. We've got a second round Dutch Cup tie coming up against Groningen, who are one of the few teams that they've beaten this year. And they've also got one more game before the winter break against Fortuna Sittard. So actually what we'll just do is we will play the 2 games before the winter break, the cup game and the league game tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, we'll come back for transfer deadline day and what will be a huge doubleheader or a huge match against Groningen or Go Ahead Eagles. Groningen are bottom, Go Ahead are directly below us in that playoff place. So one of those games is going to be decisive in the season. And deadline day and the transfer window as a whole could be pretty important to our season too. Hopefully by the time we get to our first game in 6 days' time, we will see who the director of football is going to be. Maybe they'll have a few staff coming in already because the playing squad for this season, for getting us safe, probably isn't a big worry for me at the minute. What's going on behind the scenes, the lack of staffing team and the quality of what's left, is a huge concern for me, I've got to be honest. So hopefully we'll get a director of football in that can address that and we'll be able to meet them next time. If you're looking forward to that one and you did enjoy this, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I know a few of you have been waiting a number of months patiently for this save to start. We're going to take the fun route here and hopefully we'll manage to avoid getting sacked in our first season here. A winnable game against a side 3 places above us. Can we do it? Well, join me next time to find out. If you want to make sure you don't miss it, subscribe and turn that notification bell on as we return tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. for our first 2 games in charge before the winter break. Before that though, I'm finding out who our director of football is going to be. You can find more from this channel up in the eye above. Those bits I mentioned from the original head coach, as well as our Southend save, which is into season 12 now, in addition to the Twitch channel and the football podcast, which are up in the eye above too. Come and give us a follow on both of those if you haven't before. And I hope you're looking forward to a Dutch adventure. We'll be back tomorrow for our first game with Willem II. On the face of it, we've got a decent squad to work with.